Man, this is something that really it annoys me, but I'm just not surprised. And I know I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say. It's probably not what you are going to be anticipating. With these two people here, I got on my screen, which one on the left is Emmanuel Acho, which is a sports commentator, and Angel Reese, which is a college basketball star for the University of Louisiana State, LSU, which is, if anybody follows college basketball or women's college basketball in particular, Kim Mulkey is the coach of that team, and she's got 4 championships. Well, let's just say that I saw a video that Jason Whitlock did just recently, and I got to say that he gave his opinion on what happened in this situation. But let's start with that. Apparently, Mr. Ocho here, or Acho, was asked a question in regards to the situation when Iowa, which is the team of Caitlyn Clark, which is the top star in college basketball, female college basketball today, and they played them in the Elite Eight game, and Louisiana, LSU beat them last year for the championship game. Excuse me. And there's a lot of the backlash for Angel Reese was the fact that she made some gestures and some comments to Caitlyn Clark after they won the game, and but the thing is, yeah, we know that Caitlyn Clark had did some stuff for herself, but Caitlyn Clark didn't actually do what people claim she did to that team. It was to another team, and it was actually, I think, to her coach making a comment about something. But people have created this false equivalence that, oh, well, she did it to them, so Angel Reese did it back to her. Well, that's not really what happened. But anyway, she followed around, basically taunted her, or kind of harassment, if you want to get technical about it, because the game was over, and she literally followed her around to do that thing to her face, hoping that she saw her. It's pretty bad. Now, people sit there and say, well, she did the same thing. Well, not really. There is no context does matter. How things are done do matter. But again, this outrage behind what this man said about Angel Reese as far as situation was concerned. Look, Iowa beat LSU, and Angel Reese had a very good game. Very good game. Actually, I was impressed more so this year than the year that she won the championship. I mean, she did everything she could do to help her team, but it just wasn't enough. And in the end, Iowa won, got their revenge. And that's sports. But here's the thing. Angel Reese was able to ride the fame of being the heel, so to speak. And, she got a lot of publicity because of that. So it was good for her at the time. But now she loses. She's asked questions by a reporter, and she is up there complaining about how she's been attacked. She gets death threats, and she's been sexualized, and all this other stuff. She was crying. Well, Emmanuel Acho had an opinion that was less popular with the black community, but I have to say that the man was 100% right. And I actually, for the most part, agree with Jason Whitlock's take on it, too. He had people like Ryan Clark and Matt Barnes and some others basically chastise this man like they're caping for black women, for the honor of black women. Like, this was some real simp shit, man. But I'm not surprised again. It was ridiculous. You know something? Let me just add to what Mr. Acho said and a little bit in context with what Jason Whitlock said. He was 100% right. I'm going to say that right now. Emmanuel Acho was 100% right. And I'm a black man, and I don't want to hear this crap about how we should stick to other. We should stand up and for the black folks, no matter how ignorant or how wrong they act, just because they're black. That's a load of bullshit. Let me tell you something. Angel Reese had no problem embracing the heel role. Now, you had some the feminist types like Joy Taylor up there claiming, well, she didn't make it herself, even though. So I guess we should just ignore the fact that Angel Reese verbally embraced being a villain. And kind of, to be honest with you, was one of the enforcers on that team. And that's fine if that's your role. But the whole thing about it was she came up there playing the victim. So ultimately, she wasn't gracious in her win, and she wasn't gracious in her defeat. But no one wants to hold her accountable. The black community wants to say, well, a lot of us want to say, ooh, you know, it's bullshit what Acho said, and this ain't right. And if she was white, they would be celebrating her, but she's black, and also, here's the funny part. You know who's not saying that? Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark has been smart enough, or at least as far as how she's being raised, to stay away from that whole racial element that seems to be. It's not so much white folks, but black folks that want to make that the issue. Now we know that race is a real issue in this world, but at some point, folks, we gotta arise above using that when things don't necessarily. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Let me just confront the elephant in the room, which is what nobody wants to talk about, which is the fact that the reason why there's all this hate and animosity for Caitlyn Clark and this whole racial black and white thing people want to make this into, let's just be honest. It's because, regardless of whether a lot of us want to admit it, especially a lot of us black folks want to admit it, the problem that we got is that here is a white girl who rose up to be the best female college basketball star potentially that ever lived statistically. And you have people throwing shade at her like Cheryl Sweeps, actually saying inaccurate stuff about how she's this old and how she played this many years, and just trying to undermine her. It's not a good look, folks. It's not a good look. And the thing about it is, basically what Mr. Acho was saying was that, look, he made a reference to a cowardly dog, but he basically said you can't be the big bad wolf, and then cry and complain like the cowardly dog. Now, people may not like the reference he made, but he wasn't calling Angel Reese a cowardly dog. And of course, Angel Reese just proves for people like me and others to not be sympathetic for her, because what she gets on Twitter and puts a post up there, let the apology be as loud as the disrespect. It's like, come on, y'all. And we're supposed to sit here and defend this, right? We're supposed to defend this. It's like, here's a black man who's giving his honest opinion. And it's black folks that were asking for him to be fired. Look, the man came and took the criticism that he got from these other people that he talked to. I thought that Ryan Clark was out of bounds, what he did. Really, I think he was really out of bounds. To be honest with you, me personally, I would have wanted to tell Ryan Clark to go fuck himself. The fact that he came out there on social media and getting at Mr. Acho the way he did, I don't think that helped the situation. It was some real Cape Simp shit what he did. It was just like, come on, guys. What y'all trying to prove that y'all holding it down for the community? This shit is corny, man, and it's not realistic. And the worst thing about the whole situation is that the reality of it is that, guess what? When Caitlyn Clark lost last year, she didn't get up on the podium and start crying about the fact that she lost and making excuses. Now, people say, well, Caitlyn Clark didn't make any excuses. One particular YouTuber who I follow, who was in his feelings about the situation, whether he want to admit it or not, I hope one day he sits back and thinks about that little thing he did today. And the fact that he put me in timeout about this situation, about my opinion in the comment section, which is fine. Doesn't change the reality of the fact is that, listen, it is not when it's supposed to be, you're supposed to lose graciously, right? Which means that when the reporter asked that question, that opened the door for you to go and then spill everything and then make it about you. That's what Angel Reese did. And to be honest with you, that's always been my take on Angel Reese from the very beginning. She had no problem. And the thing about her saying she's being quote unquote sexualized, that's really her not taking accountability. It's a bad look, Angel. It's a really bad look because the thing is, you sexualize yourself. You went taking these bikini photos, sexy bikini photos with your ass hanging out. And from what I understand from another YouTuber, according to another YouTuber, that you got a mold of your vagina out there that you did. So how do you complain about being sexualized when you sexualize yourself and then sit here and play the victim? Now, Caitlyn Clark was not responsible for those death threats or alleged death threats you got or the attacks that you got. But you know what the problem is, Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese? Maybe if you weren't all on social media trying to have a online kingdom or queendom, you wouldn't be so focused on what everybody's saying about you. You're taking it too seriously, and you're taking it to heart. When you thumb your nose at people in people's face, they're going to have something to say about it. And it's not going to be everything that you like. And it's not all going to be right either. But let's be honest, she set herself up for this. Does she deserve death threats? Of course not. Nobody does. But is she the first person, the only person that ever got death threats? No. But it was supposed to be a time for them to be gracious in defeat and say, hey, listen, they were a better team tonight. Hopefully they go all the way since they beat us. It would be an honor for them to win because, listen, that would say that we were the second best team. Something along those lines. And you know something? In my opinion, Angel Reese might actually earn some fans if she would have shown grace in defeat. And she could have talked about that stuff maybe at another time. She chose that time to do it and cried and everything else, ultimately making it about herself. She's been doing that all season, going down on the intro, having a crown put on her head, like all this stuff. You out there playing basketball with a whole bunch of makeup on and lip gloss and fake eyelashes and all this stuff. It's like, folks, people think that stuff don't matter, but it does. It says something about her character and her values. Caitlyn Clark's out there with no makeup. You can say she's a plain white girl, tall, skinny white girl, nothing attractive about her. Okay, fine. Guess what? She's the best female basketball player in college basketball right now. Point blank, period. I'm telling you right now, it's not close. Angel Reese had a good game. She was the second best player that night. But the fact of the matter is, Caitlyn Clark is an incredible basketball player. And the elephant in the room is, there's a lot of black women that have this mentality like, oh no, here's this white girl out here stealing the shine away from us. We're so sick of it. Some of y'all just real. Let's be real. If we really want to have a real conversation, some of y'all sisters need to stop being jealous of white women. Because you know what? Because on one hand, some of you act like you can't stand them, but then at the same breath you want to beat them. Let's just be honest about it. You can't blame black men for that. Black men are not going around telling you to get weaving your hair, getting blonde wigs, and doing all the other stuff that you do, wearing other people's hair in your head. Black men are not telling you to do that. That's a choice that you've made on your own. But of course, again, somehow it's always about a European beauty standard that you abide by, that nobody's making you do it. Hell, you don't listen to black men. Look, you have no problem with scolding Emmanuel Acho or brothers like him over saying something you don't like. So if you don't like, and here's the worst thing about this situation too. He was gracious about the criticism he got. And he still got people complaining about the fact that Ryan Clark actually talked to him and saluted him, and the fact that Acho didn't apologize, so he's not real unless he apologized. And here's Angel Reese in the background egging it on. So no, Emmanuel Acho, please do not apologize to Angel Reese. Don't do it, because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to end there. They're going to know they broke you, and guess what? They're going to do it for the rest of your career. You need to not apologize, and if they don't like it, too bad, because guess what? They're not your fans anyway. They're not your fans, never going to be your fans. They're always going to see you as weak. When a manager, you have an opinion they don't like, they're going to slap you around. You know what you got to say? Who gives a damn? Say your opinion anyway. You don't have an obligation. That's what someone I know, some would call, the unspoken Negro contract. So shout out to Angry Man. And that's true. It's like you can't say things about you. It's like, don't you air our dirty laundry, but but yet you still be subject to our dirty laundry. but don't air it out. But you should still be subject to it. Well, guess what? You don't have to be subject to it. Because the reality of it is, Angel Reese should have just taken this on the chin. It was her telling the press about how she's getting death threats, how she's being attacked, and playing the victim. And the worst part about it is what really kills her credibility about everything she said was the fact she complained about being sexualized when she did it herself. She enjoyed all the attention she could get and pissing people off, and basically she loved it. She loved it. She was eating a lot when she won. Now that she lost, let's talk about how I'm being attacked. Now, yeah, somebody said, well, somebody asked you the question, but guess what? Just because somebody asked me a question doesn't mean that I should just blur out my whole life story down, does it? But really, let's be honest, Angel Reese wanted the opportunity to vent, and she took it the first opportunity she got. And no matter how you want to slice it, folks, you can be mad, you can call people coon styles, everything you want. Guess what? Y'all don't want to be told the truth. And most of y'all don't really want to hold black women accountable because some of you brothers out here are straight up simps and you're part of the problem. That's just the reality. Because the thing about it is Angel Reese has made a lot of money and she's got a lot of publicity and it was all great. It was all great when it was sweet. Guess what? The world don't owe it to her, not just black women or black people. The world don't owe it to anybody to coddle you. Okay? You have to have some thick skin out here. People are gonna criticize you no matter what. So if she's complaining about being attacked, quote unquote, which is basically people insulting her or saying whatever nasty things they want to say, you set yourself up for that. You make yourself a public figure and you embrace that. Nobody forced her. See, that's the thing. People like Joy Taylor, none of them, these other women who want to jump up to the aid and criticize Acho and Paul Pierce and others because they're mad because the white girl got more shine than they got, and that's really the underlying truth of the matter that people don't want to break, don't want to get on. That's why they're so angry at Paul Pierce and Emmanuel Acho for statements they made. Now, mind you, what Paul Pierce could have been said in a better way, but I don't think that. I think there was a point that he was trying to make about what he was saying, but it was a point that black folks, by and large, didn't want him to make. The so-called woke or pro-blackish type black people didn't want him to say that, and how dare he say that? That's taboo, and that's violating the code. The very little few codes that we got that we actually abide by. Okay? But yeah, so it's so easy to sit here and go along and attack this man because we don't like his opinion. But let's look at his opinion from objectively. The problem, black people get too many of us are too caught with our emotions. And as long as you do that, you're going to continue to lose. Look at what he said objectively. Instead of being in your feelings about it. And to tell you what, it'll make a lot more sense to you. But to go after this man like this is ridiculous, okay? Emmanuel Acho did not kill Angel Reese. She didn't destroy her life. She'll live, and she don't deserve an apology. The man said what he said. And if y'all don't like it, that's just too damn bad. And he needs to stand on it, because if he doesn't, he's just going to confirm to all of them. They'll say you did the right thing, but at the end of the day, the truth is they're going to see him as a weak man, and he would be if he capitulates and does that. All right? Angel Reese just needs to grow up, lick her wounds, go to the NBA, and then make the most out of her career. But this whole idea about running up there, like really, she should have kept that. And really, what I'm telling you, her sitting there complaining about being sexualized was rich, man. That was rich. That shows you she had no accountability. She's been cocky, she's been arrogant, she played the bully role, and she had no problem doing it. Thing is, she even had enough audacity to tell a coach on another team to watch her mouth. Boy, I mean, that's bold, man. That's bold. Not another player, but the coach. Now, come on, y'all. Y'all can get mad and call everybody, all the brothers that don't want to, conform to this, this no break, this thing that, or it's off limits for you to say about it. This is nonsense, because this is the truth. Angel Reese is not a victim, and we need to start treating her like one. If we really want to improve as a quote-unquote so-called community, Do we need to? I mean, it's fine for people to not agree with what Acho says or anybody else, but guess what? They should not be put in a position where there has to be this groupthink or this hive mind and how we black folks should think about other black folks. The reality of it is he tried to be objective, and you had people telling him that he couldn't be because it had to be seen in the lens of race and gender. Wow. So you couldn't break it down and say, well, you know, she was in a position, but no, because of her race and because of her gender, somehow she shouldn't be held to the same account. Absurd argument, folks. We really need to look at that. But anyway, again, people say what I say. I don't agree with everything that Jason Whitlock says in this world, but guess what? He's right about this one. Emmanuel Acho got emasculated by and I'm gonna tell you something. They might think that they showed something or that they did something valiant. All they did was basically throw a cape on and be a bunch of simps, which ain't getting none of us nowhere. And it sure as hell ain't really gaining nobody. Look, you guys are trying to be, as Jason Whitlock said, gatekeepers for a certain sense of etiquette as far as how you speak, black folks speak among each other. But it's amazing how nobody will hold her accountable for things that she actually did. No, they're going to be mad at Emmanuel Acho for saying it. We got a long way to go, folks, if we ever get there. I'm out.